Don't act like you forgot.
Hello babes, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, welcome. So in today's video we will be diving into the underrated album of Kelly Rowland's Talk a Good Game, so let's get into it. Kelly is one of the most underrated artists to have entered the industry and not received the recognition and love she deserves. And I'll be doing a separate video on Kelly Rowland, but today we will be diving into her best album to date, which is Talk a Good Game. This album is good from beginning to end and a classic R&B album and one of the best albums that was released in 2013 in my opinion. This album deserved multiple Grammys and should have gone double platinum, and I think it was one of the last real R&B albums we got. It was filled with raw emotion and vulnerability. Talk a Good Game was released on June 18, 2013, formerly named Year of the Woman. The album mainly had elements of R&B and pop and was influenced by musical greats like Marvin Gaye, Whitney Houston, and Stevie Wonder. Kelly stated she wanted this album to celebrate womanhood, referring to the album as one of her most personal albums she had ever done. Kelly co-wrote all of the songs on the album except for her cover of Jamie Foxx's Freak. Talk a Good Game was Kelly's fourth solo studio album, and it felt like this was going to be the moment Kelly would achieve massive success in her breakthrough album. It had top producers like The Dream, Mike Will Made It, The Runners, and more. It had the classic R&B feel that we were missing, but also had dance, club hits that were sure to get you moving. Kelly's voice was smooth like butter and clear like water on this album. So why didn't the album sell as much as it should have? Kelly poured her heart and soul into this album and sang about previous abusive relationships and how she would be putting herself first and giving women hope and the strength to get up and leave their turbulent relationship. However, that didn't matter because the promotion of this album was completely mishandled and was in the midst of her severing ties with Republic Records and stating that she was ready for a fresh start. Talk a Good Game was promoted with live renditions of the album's songs during the Lights Out tour, which was a co-headline tour between Kelly and The Dream. The album was also preceded by the release of the lead single, a Mike Will Made It and Mars production titled Kisses Down Low, which peaked in the top 30 of the US Billboard Hot R&B and Hip Hop Songs chart. The second single that would go on to be released was Dirty Laundry, produced by The Dream a month before the release of the album.
Let's do this dirty laundry, this dirty laundry.
The song diving into a previous abusive relationship Kelly had suffered. Now, here's where I believe they messed up with the release of Kelly's album. As much as I love the song Kisses Down Low, it should not have been the lead single of the album. I, like many others, believed number one should have been the first single with a video that was attached to it.
If I'm not the one, then I guess you can call number two.
Giving us choreography as well as a story to go along with it, giving us a 90s, 2000s R&B feel to it. The first single off of the album always sets the tone for the album and gives the audience and fans a preview into what to expect from the album that will be released. Kelly's team also didn't promote the album in the way it should have been promoted. The songs were spread out way too far apart and should have been closer in release, like a month or a few weeks apart from each other. But the songs were released months after each other, losing the interest of a lot of fans who were interested in the album and anticipating the drop. They dropped the ball in a major way when it came to this album, and for it to only have sold 176,000 copies is ludicrous. I mean, there were projects released that same year that weren't half as good as Talk a Good Game. I also want to touch on how Kelly is extremely talented and an excellent performer. However, I do believe Kelly sometimes slacks when it comes to her projects and loses focus. I think she loves making music and singing because it's one of her first loves, but I don't think she loves all of the extras that come along with music, like touring, promotion, and interviews. She just likes her music to speak for itself, and unfortunately, fans want more than just music. They also want to engage with the artist. This album was the album that deserved all of the promotion, bells and whistles, a mega tour, interviews, multiple music videos. Kelly was failed in multiple ways. It's like they didn't know how to market her without continuous comparisons to Beyonce, when they are two completely different artists. The countless amount of interviews with people constantly asking about B as if Kelly was not her own person or artist is beyond annoying. Their music doesn't even sound similar in my opinion, but Kelly is incredibly talented and this album showed that, like her vocals, her vocal ability, and how she could do different records without sticking to one sound. From records like Down on Love,
I've been down on love lately.
I Remember, Red Wine, and Skywalker, a constant repeat for me. Showcased her beautiful, soulful tone. This album is one of those very rare, no-skip albums that don't come along often. And I think Kelly and The Dream make an incredible team when it comes to making music, and sometimes it just takes that one producer to bring the best out of you, that when you enter the studio you just create this magic together, like Brandy and Darkchild, Missy and Timbaland, and many others. The album was nominated at the 2014 World Music Awards for Best Album, but I definitely believe the album should have been nominated for way more awards than it was. But it seems as though people are closed off to R&B sung by black artists. But when their white counterparts try to sing the music we created, they get all of this praise. They break records, top the Billboard charts, get all of these awards, and some of our own people support them more than they support our own artists. This album just had countless bangers that just cannot be denied. It was a beautiful body of work, and I am still upset at the fact that it didn't go as far as it should have. It really should have went double platinum, but we all know why it didn't go double platinum. Let's put aside the whole records being sold in promotion. Colorism plays a large part into why Kelly is not the huge artist that she deserves to be as well. As beautiful and talented as Kelly is, some people just don't want to see a dark-skinned woman up front and center, and the industry most certainly doesn't want that. It's very rare that you see a dark-skinned woman succeeding in the industry and having the amount of success that their lighter counterparts have success in. Kelly could dance and sing with the best of them, but unfortunately that doesn't matter in the industry. And that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I love me some Kelly Rowland, and this album will always be a banger for me, as I stated before. Some of my favorite songs on this album are Red Wine, Skywalker, Down on Love, Number One. Oh, and I cannot forget about I Remember. Let me know below what are some of your favorite songs from this album, and I will catch you guys in the next video.